Let's go.
And then we'll do a little, I do a little intro, and then I will put you on as the CEO of Tax Maverick, right?
That works. And then whatever you want to ask me, I know they gave you some questions. I don't care what you ask me, Miss Diva. We can talk about whatever.
Okay, yeah,
Hey,
yeah, we do conversational, no problem.
whatever you
No
want to talk about.
problem. I think you're very comfortable in front of the camera, and I love to talk, so no problem. We ready? There we go.
Yeah, whatever you are.
Okay. Welcome to Diva's Two Cents, where we take complicated matters and we kind of break them down for the masses. We do air every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and I try to bring you interesting guests. And today I have a very interesting guest, someone that I've known for years who's the real thing. He is Mr. David Perez, and he is the CEO of Tax Maverick. David, how are you, my friend?
Look at that. That was so cool. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Miss Diva. That's so awesome. I feel really important right now. Thank you.
You are important. You are important. You are the CEO of Tax Maverick. Now, we go ways back. I know you for many, many years when we were both franchisees at a, tax place.
Yeah.
So, I tell you, you've come a long way. The tax industry has come a long way. And I really want to get your take for everyone out there, especially with this new bill that came out, this tax bill that came out. But let's talk a little bit about how'd you get here to this point, David, because you do have a very interesting story, one that inspires many out there that maybe were or are in your position and need to get to where you are now. So you want to give us just a little something here?
Yeah, so I've my journey in the tax industry started about 17 years ago, where I opened an office in a partnership. Actually, a buddy of mine who had money said, "Hey, I'm gonna open a tax office," and he says to me, "Would you like to join me?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, the only thing I know about taxes right now, I was in my early 20s, is that I don't want to ever pay them." That's what I told him. And he says to me, "David, what else are you going to do?" And he had a point. And so I said, maybe I'll take on this journey. And so we opened a small office down in deep South Texas back in 2008. And after finishing my first tax season of helping clients file their returns, I learned very quickly. I started helping people file returns, and I thought, man, this is interesting. I really loved learning about how people made money and invested it and spent it and used it. It was just interesting to me. I always found it fascinating, Diva, and I'm sure you did too, is that I like to learn about industries and how they were making money. So like whenever I would meet somebody just randomly without being my tax client, I would say, "What do you do for a living?" And they would tell me, and then I already knew, because I had done so many tax returns, that I knew how much they made and I knew kind of their lifestyle, just kind of, anyways. So I pursued this industry because I fell in love with it, and I grew a very successful tax practice by 2020. We had about 7,000 clients that we were servicing in some capacity, and I really enjoyed it. And the challenge for me in 2020 is when COVID hit, is it kind of exposed an opportunity I wasn't looking at. COVID forced me to see my business in a different way, which I think many of us are going to go through those challenges. It could be COVID, it could have been the Great Recession, or it could just be a challenge in your own life. But there comes a point where you have to make decisions on what the path is for you. And in 2020, I saw an opportunity. I started to encounter clients that were different because I was marketing different, because most of my career I spent marketing in my own local area. And with COVID just kind of bringing this, virtual world to play, made me start to see that there might be opportunities out there. And I did. I started to talk to people from California and Florida and Nevada and all states. And I started to see that people had different problems that I maybe didn't see before. Like when I first started, it was just filing returns. But as I started to file returns, and even as I became a better business guy, I started to learn about forming entities and structuring businesses and putting the right investments. And so in 2020, when I started to meet these clients, I saw that they needed help. And I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was kind of prepared but not prepared, and I started to just give advice, and people started to want to pay me, which people had never really paid me for that kind of stuff in the past, and it just kind of transitioned and snowballed to me just finding this passion to find ways to help people save more money on their taxes and really build wealth for themselves, because that's what was my whole journey for myself. And so I felt like I was my first client, and that has just transitioned from just being a tax professional many years to now focusing primarily on helping people avoid paying taxes through legal tax strategies. And that's kind of my journey in the tax industry for many years, Diva. And today I just love what I do. I love helping people. I also help tax professionals across the country as well, in that capacity, because I know I can't do it alone. And so I feel like it's just been my calling. I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I was going to grow up, if you will, and I feel like I figured it out.
I know, I just don't understand. When I tell people that I like to read tax code, they laugh at me. They mock you and they say, oh, you're just a bean counter. But that's not true. We can help a lot of people. And I know you personally. I've embraced a lot of your stuff throughout the years. You wrote a book. Your first book was Build Your Own Economy, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Build Your Own
Yeah,
Economy. I
that's my
remember
first
the
book.
launch. I remember it like, wow. And then reading it from cover to cover, it was like, oh, David, you're awesome.
Oh, I appreciate that. That, by the way, I wrote my first book just kind of like by sheer force. I say that because you and I have a mutual friend. His name's Coach Burt, and Coach and I've known Coach since 2017. And in 2017, I met Coach, and I said, I want to work with you. So I joined one of his programs, and I started to work with him. And kind of fizzled off around 2018, 19. Most of the times we go through things in seasons. Like we read a book, we get a concept, we get into things. And so it was like a season for me. But in 2020, when the world was shutting down, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, and I start finding this advisory world, and I just start trying to figure out things. I was kind of scared, and I said, man, I need to get around some people who are thinking bigger than I am. And so I went to an event with Coach, and it was the first event out of COVID, and it was like middle of the summer, and I'm sitting in this room, and I felt like I was a caged animal because, for so long we hadn't been able to go out and like engage with the world, right? And so I'm back in the world, and I sat down there in that room, and Coach talked about writing a book and doing some big things, and I just, I didn't feel like that was my path. But then he challenged me a few times, and I kind of took it seriously. I thought, man, I got to write a book. And it's funny, Diva, because the first book that I wrote about how to maximize your business opportunity through multiple services. Like that literally was like the concept. And I wrote a whole book. Nobody knows this. This is actually something I've never really disclosed. And I wrote this whole book.
Okay.
And I got to the end of the book, and then I said, man, this is just complete garbage. Like, it's not that the concept was bad, and it's not that the ideas were bad, and it wasn't that the book was horrible. I just felt like it wasn't who I was. Like, I didn't want to be known as the guy that just showed you how to make a bunch of money. I actually thought, maybe I have something deep inside of me that's deeper. And so I started to re-envision this concept. And when I wrote down like what I wanted to be known for, I thought, man, I want people to take back control. I want people to be independent. I want people to take charge of their life. I want people to just really see that it is possible to not let anybody else dictate your success or your failures. And I wrote down this word like the economy can't hurt you. And then I thought, wait a minute, but you don't, like, what if you just owned your own economy? And then that's the concept that came to me, building your own economy. And that's why I wrote the book. And it was really just the journey of my life, and then the principles and values that I've gained through my career that just have stuck with me, and they've become who I am. And so I didn't really write that book like on purpose. It was kind of an accidental writing, and it became one of my favorite passions. And today I've written several books because I think it's good to share your message. I think sharing a story is, your story specifically is impactful, and it's a legacy kind of play.
Yeah. I know Coach Burke. I love him dearly. I've actually been in Tennessee at his lodge. I've trained with him. He's a wonderful individual. Him and his family both. My blessings to him. I've got to go see him. I've got to get back to Tennessee. So next time I go to Tennessee, I'll call you. Maybe we can do something together there because.
I'll be there in like 3 weeks. I'm going to the Tim Story event with him.
Oh, okay,
Come
okay.
join us
Yeah,
there.
Tim, I haven't seen Tim in years. Yeah, he's wonderful as well. He taught me a lot too. I've gone through quite a few coaches, and that's for sure. But building your own economy. When I read that, I realized that you are so right in going that direction, and more importantly, the direction that you take in helping individuals such as myself and others that are in the tax industry and letting them look at our industry from a different perspective. Because there's a lot of individual tax preparers out there and EAs and CPAs and all of that good stuff, accountants that don't value what we do. I mean, it's taken me a very long time to even understand and even believe that taxes are, I always say, well, there's no sexy topic in taxes, taxes are not sexy. But they're important, and we can help so many individuals. It's just not fair, David, that only the 1%ers out there, are the ones that know all these tax strategies. And I know that you hold conferences. I've been to your conferences where you've taught. You've actually showed that hey, there's a lot here that we don't know and that need to be known. Now with the new tax bill, I saw one of your advertisements or ads or reels, whatever you call them these days, on the real estate, how the real estate is dead or something. What are you talking about? What did you mean by that?
Well, it's interesting, Diva, is that the tax code isn't that complex. I mean, it does have some complexities, but it is designed to be played. And the difference really I think a lot of people take it out of context when we say, the tax code is made for business owners or it's made for the wealthy. Well, it's just because the wealthy can leverage more of the tax code because they have more money, right? That's just it. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people see that as a negative, where I see that as a positive, because I don't think that anybody should have to pay taxes if they can legally avoid them. I believe that wholeheartedly. The challenge is that very many people don't understand the tax code. And it's our responsibility to teach them that. Mm-hmm. And I see an industry in taxes today where tax professionals are just, you said valued, right? And I think value is a great word to describe it. And I would say, for those who really struggle with conceptualizing what value is, I believe that value equals usefulness. So when somebody says you're very valuable, well, it means you're very useful. And that means the more useful you become to somebody, the more likely they're going to continue to do business with you, and they're going to continue to pay you what you're worth, because that's how useful you are. And in our world today, I think that tax professionals have been beaten down into stubs on the floor because many people don't see them as so useful anymore. And it's a shame because they're very useful. Unfortunately, they just struggle. A lot of tax professionals struggle with being able to showcase their value or their usefulness because they're overwhelmed and overworked, and that all comes from just being a business owner and taking on too many clients for not enough money. And unfortunately, every business goes through that. So it's not me talking about money. I'm just saying it in a general term. Yeah. But the reason I point this out is because many people demand so much of their tax professional. They demand so much. And they expect them to get, let's call it Rolls Royce service, right? Or Four Seasons service out of a Super 8 budget, right? It's Four Seasons versus Super 8. And that is not, by the way, by any means me complaining that people don't pay enough. It's more so that these tax professionals, in most cases, have just taken on too much work. And it's hard to say no. And I want to put this in context for everybody who's kind of listening to this, is that you're dealing with somebody who is really trying to feed their family too. And they're trying to do good for their communities. They're trying to do everything. The tax professional is a business owner. And if you pay this guy or gal $200 a year, how many clients does he need or she need to make a decent living for their family at $200? To make six figures, they need 5,000 clients. And you would say, well, then they can hire employees. I mean, with $100,000, how many people can you hire? And so it becomes this whole thing where it's like, okay, I want to help as many people as I can, but at the same token, we've got to help ourselves. And so I believe I'm an advocate for this community and saying, you need to be seen more valuable. And that's what I believe. And to talk about like the changes in the code, this is a good example of how they can become more valuable to their clients and understanding the changes, because I think this is a huge opportunity for all tax people right now, because the government has changed the code and also created a lot of noise for us. Like they basically created a wave, the let's call it the big beautiful bill wave. And some tax professionals are gonna jump on the wave and ride it. So they're gonna post things about it. They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna call their clients about it. They're gonna send emails about it. They're gonna share things about it. They're gonna expose the credit and the deductions and everything. And then some are just gonna sit back and just like watch the wave pass by. And those who ride that wave are gonna be the ones that stand up and just say, I wanna help people. And they get seen differently and they get paid more and they get the best opportunities. And some people are not going to do that because they think, well, it's not my responsibility. People don't pay me enough. Well, people will never pay you enough if you don't step up first, right? Like you have to give before you ask. And so with the changes in the code for real estate, for an example, the change in real estate code, it's basically bonus depreciation. But I was kind of torching it because what's going to happen, because real estate becomes more attractive, the prices of real estate are going to go up. And because the price of real estate goes up, people now are, for single family homes as an example, it's already expensive. Like, Diva, you already know, like if you want to buy a new house right now,
I'm a realtor.
like you look at that house, you're like, it's not, you're like, I can't, first off, you're like, it's not worth it. Second, you're like, man, I can't afford that. I mean, I say that all the time. I'm like, man, we can't afford that. The rate is crazy. But we were spoiled, because we lived in a low rate environment for a little while. But people literally cannot buy a house. The wages have increased by 25% in the last 4 years, where a mortgage payment has gone up 110%. So if Trump brings this new big bill, beautiful bill to Congress, they pass it, which has happened. Well, real estate prices can only go up. And if real estate prices go up, more people can't afford to buy houses. So he's crushing people. And I'm not against or for him or in general. I'm just saying simple economics stand true. If you raise the prices, less people will buy. And less people can afford. And I'm not saying people deserve free housing, and I'm not saying we should drop the rates to zero. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this has to be a calculated move. And in this case, I think it's kind of a negative, But
really? And I listened to you. And I was like, oh, David, I beg to differ. And maybe because I'm also on the invest. Now you're an investor just like I am, and we go out and we look at all these. To me, I never married that interest rate. I never ever married. I mean, I bought homes at 13% just to get the deal. So I mean, you don't marry the interest rate. You get the deal. So I think at this point, and I get what you're saying, and we at Diva says we don't get political. I couldn't care less who's at the White House right now, as long as that person is good for the people, and that we get what we get. But just like you're saying about the tax professionals that are just riding the wave and not understanding it, they have to really read the code well so they don't spread misinformation, right? And so that when those investors come to them, because they always come, they come to us. Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I always preface it. I'm not an attorney. I'm a realtor. I'm an insurance broker, and I'm a tax advisor. And I can only tell you what looks good for me. You make your own informed decisions, right? So I think when I listen to that and I say, okay, yes, you're right. A lot of that's going to happen. And right now, you're going to have a lot of 20-year-olds and 24-year-olds that are still living with mom and dad, and they're not going to be able to afford the homes.
Never.
They're not going to be able to do it. They're not. But they need people like you. They need people like me who go out there and say, hey, beat the IRS at their own game. They're incentivizing us in different areas. Okay, so we didn't get this little piece, but what about this piece? Now, David, I'm a senior, and I was looking for no taxes on Social Security. I didn't get it.
they did raise
Okay, the
the
deduction.
exemption,
Okay,
but like
okay.
I think it wasn't that much. I can't remember the call, but I think it was like 5,000 or something. It's
But
not enough. It didn't change anybody's life.
no, no, no. But so what I'm getting at is, yeah, with this big bill, for those of you out there that are tax professionals in any capacity, whether you're a bookkeeper to to an enrolled agent, you have got to understand the code and how you can find incentives for your clients so that you can raise that value that David is talking about, so that you can. This is a lucrative business, right, David? I mean, it really is. You have a whole
Amen.
program, right? You've got the whole advisory program. Talk to us. How do you get these people into your programs, and how do you
Well,
help them?
well, first off, we're on a mission. This is a passion of mine. So it goes beyond. So I've been doing this for 5 years in just advisory, and I absolutely loved it. And in the path of kind of building my own practice, I came to the realization that a lot of the things that I was doing were just taking up too much time. And if you want to grow any business, you've got to scale back time. You've got to compress time, because if it takes you 4 or 5 hours to get a task done, and it's a big task, that means you're going to go labor intensive. So with the advancement of technology, I said, man, we got to find a better solution. So I went out into the market to try to find a solution to help myself save time by helping my clients, and I could not find one. And so in 2023, late 23, I took on a project to build out a software that my staff and my team could use to really be able to do things for our clients that could speed up the process and could really maximize savings. And so 23, I did this exploratory, build my own thing, and in 24, I realized that we had built something very useful to the world. And so we released it, named it something Tax Maverick. So tax professionals can use Tax Maverick to. It's a software that helps identify the right tax strategies for your clients, and which is very beneficial. But I think that the tool Tax Maverick is really just a tool, just like a tool belt, right? If you don't have a job to do, you don't need a tool belt, because it doesn't really matter. So what I see as the biggest problem is, how do we help advisors find the right clients? And that's through giving them the right guidance on how to identify the right clients to help, what kind of help you can provide to people, and then how to build a business that supports the right clients, which are those who want the type of advisory service you could offer. Now, I believe our mission is bigger than just software and just helping people in this way. I believe that we call the software Tax Maverick because a maverick is somebody who takes a unique approach. It's an outlier. It's somebody who says, I want to do these things differently. And so we are different. But when I take Tax Maverick, I say take out the tax and just call it Maverick. And I believe that we are mavericks. And my belief of maverick is somebody who takes a unique set of skills in finance, tax, investments. I believe that it's somebody who can look at an individual's financial portfolio, because there's financial advisors who give investment advice, there's tax people who give tax advice, there's attorneys who give these types of advices, but my belief is that a maverick can help somebody build real wealth through tax savings. And I believe our platform and what I'm building is a movement of people who want to be advocates for their clients to build wealth, because there's not a lot of people out there advocating for that. Most wealth advisors or financial advisors are looking to secure your money and then make a little money off of it every year, right? Like, we are a fee-based business, meaning I'm not trying to make money off of you if you make money or not. I'm trying to help you build wealth, and I'm going to do my job based on what you give me, and we're going to help you in many ways. And so I believe our platform is going to evolve into kind of an ecosystem of education for tax professionals to be more of a wealth advisor to their clients.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And someone that sits in the same, taking care of the same clients that you do, it's interesting when you get attorneys call you and say, why are you sending someone, to do a backdoor IRA, Roth IRA, and that's illegal. And I'm like, oh my God, what law school did you go to? Okay.
Yeah.
But for those of you out there that have your own practice, that really want to bring that value to your clients, you have something good there, David. You really do. And you have a good
Yeah.
heart. You also have a good heart because you run a nonprofit, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We definitely run a nonprofit. So, what I realized early on, and this is I've been doing this kind of, let's call it nonprofit, for a little over 10 years, and I remember probably about 3 or 4 years in the business. I said, man, I wasn't making a lot of money at the time, and I wasn't, like, to call it real successful, but I always said that if I could make a little bit of extra money, I would be willing to give some of that away. And I remember one of my early mentors, who was Jim Rohn, said, if you can't give $10 out of $100, what makes you think you're going to give the 100,000 out of the million? Right? Like,
Right.
like many people say, well, I'll give when I have money. And I said, okay, well, I'm willing to do it when I'm small. And so I did, and I went to Walmart and HEB, which is a local grocery chain here, and I went and bought 20 turkeys
I
and
remember.
20 bags of stuffing and all these things, because it was about Thanksgiving time, rather. And I just went and randomly went to neighborhoods that I saw just kind of dilapidated houses and things, and I was like, hey, here's a meal from somebody who cares. Like, I did not do it with my business logos or any of that. I just went and did this, and then the next year I was like, man, that was fun. And I asked some of my members of my team the next year, you guys want to do this with me? And then we did that. And then the next year I was like, I asked my family, and I was like, hey, you guys want to do this? And so it's just been this snowball effect of, now we have hundreds of people. We try to hit 5,000 families every year that we feed during the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, I mean, I'm at a point in my career where I can give more. And so what I do is every dollar that is donated to this cause, which is called freehungernation.com, every dollar I match it personally with my money. So if we raise 20,000 or 100,000, whatever number, I will donate exactly that amount in equation there, because I figured if somebody's willing to do it, I'm willing to do it, because it's the only way it makes sense for me. That if others believe in it, I'm going to do it. If nobody believes in it, then I guess I'll have to figure something out.
I know. Now, how do you spread the word for that? Because I'm sure there's people out here that are listening that probably want to get involved in something like that. I mean,
So, but first off, for anybody, it doesn't matter if they're in the tax industry or in the tax realm or any of that stuff. Right now, I'm doing a book club. So I just started this. I've never done this before. I'm doing a book mastermind on a book. Watch, let me grab this. Oh, it's right here.
Sure.
Let me show you something.
Sure.
I don't have, it's right here. There's a book I read a few months ago that I really liked by a guy named Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time. And it's a really good book. And so I was in one of our coaching sessions that I do with tax professionals, and everybody was complaining about not having time and not having good teams and all these things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do something interesting. So I'm going to do this book mastermind, because I think this would be a good book for them. And then I said, here's what I'm going to do. Anybody who joins this book, it's a month long, one day a week. Anybody who joins is completely free. This is to your audience, everybody. It's completely free. I'm going to do this. The first session starts tomorrow. Kind of funny, but tomorrow. All I ask is, if I do this for free, just donate. Feed one family, 100 families, whatever number you want. Just go to freehungernation.com and just donate $25. It takes $25 to feed a family. You do one family, you join the book club. If you do 100 families, it's cool too. It's the same thing. So we've had people actually donate 3,000, 5,000. $1,500. Like, we've got a lot of money raised, and it's just for a good cause, right? So freehungernation.com is the name of our website, or is the name of our nonprofit. Totally nonprofit. If you want a tax deduction, it also qualifies.
Oh yeah. We'll put that. We're gonna put that in the chat. And hunger is very dear to me, because you know me.
Yeah.
You know me. I wasn't born of money. I was hungry all the time until I grew up. I didn't realize that the tummy aches I used to have was really hunger pain. So it's dear to my heart, and I know that you do this. And I remember the very first time you did it, and you went with your phone around and knocking on the doors, and some people won't open the door, but then you'd say, "No, I have food for you." so you're the real deal.
By the way, thank you. What I believe, though, is that even though this is done here in my local community, so you donate to feed these low-income housings that we know of, but I believe everybody can do this, right? Like, we've had people who have kind of followed what we've done, and we know in Dallas, Texas, we had another family who's been doing this at a local school, and we had some in San Antonio, which is pretty far from us, and I had a couple in Tennessee who called me and they said, hey, because of this, we started, and that's all we want. Like, it doesn't matter where you do it or who do it. Everybody, I believe everybody, if you can afford to, pick a family in need every holiday. And it's actually not even about the food, Diva, to me. The reason I say that, the food is a big part of nutrition and all that stuff. I get it. I believe just bringing people together is the solution. I don't think enough families get to connect anymore. I don't think people talk anymore. I don't think it's a big and so by just giving them a meal, maybe they'll prepare it together. Maybe they'll have a conversation together. Maybe they'll enjoy some time together that they would have normally not done because they didn't have that meal. So I believe it's a unifying statement, and that's the cause.
And the main thing is you're able to feed a family with for $25. I can't go to the local steakhouse and have my own meal, one meal for $25. So I mean, you're doing a great thing.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. My steak usually, but that's how I know I can feed families, right? Because my steak's not even 20. It's more than 20. My steak is more than $25. But
I know, I know.
you know,
It's a wonderful
you
thing.
know,
A wonderful thing. So it's called Freedom,
hunger,
Free Hunger.
freehungernation.com.
freehungernation.com. Okay, perfect. That's where we're going to put it in the chat so that everybody who's watching, they can also,
Thank
you know,
you.
chime in because you do.
And
I mean,
if you do donate and you want to join the book club, we'll send you an email so you guys can join us. It's just
Okay.
1 hour
Okay.
every Thursday for the next 5 weeks. It was going to be 4, but there's a lot of chapters in this book, so I'm actually adding a bonus week.
Okay, great, excellent. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So give us one little tidbit here for the audience. Anything you'd like to share before? Because I know your time is precious. You've been so gracious to be on the Divas Two Cents. I really appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. I believe in what you do, and I think that you're gonna go much further than this, way beyond. After way I'm gone. So.
Thank you. Well, what I would tell everybody is just be mindful. Look, everybody has been. I think of life as something that's been given to us, right? Like I think life is a gift, and I mean I'm not like I'm a faith-based guy, but I'm not like a guy who's on the Bible and all that stuff all day. But I would say this: we all have massive potential because we were gifted life, and I believe life is the pursuit of one's potential, right? And so no matter where you are financially today, you could be very well off, or you could be in a struggling situation. Wherever you are in this world, just know something. It can always get better, and there can always be more opportunities for you. And I share that not to inspire you, but just to say something that I want everybody to get, because it can come off from like Diva and myself or anybody that we want to help people, but if they don't, make this kind of income, we can't help them. If they're not in this situation, we can't help them. And that comes out in a lot of my content. And I don't really want people to think that I only want to help wealthy people. I want to help everybody. The challenge is, what I have found in the world is that there are people who want to get help, and there are people who complain about how everybody else is winning, right? And so my belief is that those who want to pursue their potential don't say everyone else is winning. Find out how you can win too. And the way you do that is just associating yourself with great people like Diva, by just getting into the right networks and just staying positive about things in your life. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to get sucked into the negative. It's very easy. It's very easy to get consumed by a bad day. It's very easy to just go into negative town. I don't think anybody deserves to have a bad life. I think we all deserve to have equal opportunities and to win. Some people take advantage of that and some don't. So for your peeps and for all of the peoples in the world, just go out and win. Just go win, because you deserve to win. Your family deserves to see you win.
Yeah, go and win and beat the IRS at their own game. Hey, by the way, I just want to do a little plug here. I'm having my first conference with a friend of mine, a partner. Her name is Margie Dunky Jacobs. It's going to be in Kissimmee, Florida, September the 20th. My first conference, and I'm thinking about the very first conference that you had that I went to. And I remember when the elevator doors closed and I saw your big picture there. Well, mine is not going to have a picture like that, but I am going to have my very first conference. I promised Coach Bert that I would eventually get that done as well. So if you get to see him before I do, let him know.
When is it? Remind everybody, when is your conference?
September the 20th. in Kissimmee, Florida, at the Westgate Resort. It's a beautiful place. It's like a little water park thing. It's really nice. And it's just an all-day conference. It's on a Saturday, and it's going to be money mindset, and it's breaking through to the new youth. So Margie will do the mindset, I'll do the money, and money, money, money. And like I said, you got to beat the IRS at their own game, because it's just a game. As long as you know the rules and you stay within compliance, and you can beat it. You can really beat it.
That's so awesome, Miss Diva. Congratulations. Like,
Thank
that
you.
is, for everybody watching, I want you guys to pick up something here. To put on an event is one of the hardest things in the world. Even virtual events, people like underplay so many things. They always say like, oh yeah, look at them having events and they're doing big things. Like, no, it is the most stressful time of your life, because so many people. I mean, just everybody picture yourself. How many times do you buy a ticket or like for a movie? A movie. How many of you buy tickets a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month in advance for a movie? Nobody does that. They buy it the day of, the night before, the morning. That's the exact same mentality when it comes to an event that, let's say, Diva's putting together. And the reason I point this out is because for anybody to have an event in a nice hotel and to really put it together, it costs thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that come out before the event. So, God, so you're doing that is just so brave and so good, because no matter the outcome, it's an experience you'll never forget. And for everybody who attends, I always say this: the people who attend the first one are always going to get the best rewards. Like, they're going to get you the rawest. They're going to get you the best. They're going to get to see you behind the scenes. They're going to get connections that they never would have ever gotten in the world. Like, you're going to get, for those of you who haven't signed up and are going, you should go to this event.
Thank you.
I actually would go if I could, but I'm in San Diego that same day. But I mean, God, across the whole country from each other, so I can't even fly in the same day. But I mean, guys, go to her event. You got to go. That's incredible, Diva. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And you're absolutely right. You don't realize how expensive it is until you start doing it. But you know what? It's rewarding. And even if I got to get it out of my system. Remarkable boldness is what Coach Burke says, right? Remarkable boldness. And once the first one is off, it's just nonstop.
You just have to give. One of my team members asked me this morning, like, how do you deal with risk? I said, well, the way I deal with risk is if I feel like something's risky, it's because I don't have control over it. And if I can control it, it's not risky because I'm betting on me at that point. And so in your case, you're betting on you. And I mean, the worst case scenario for everybody, just get this, pick this up. This might hurt people, but it's just money.
Yeah.
It's just money.
It is. You're not gonna take it with you, right? You're not. It's not gonna. They're not gonna put it in my box. When I die. No way. No, my family will have it spent before I get 6 feet under.
That's right. I mean, the reason I say it's just money is because you can always get more money, but you can't get back time. And if you don't do that event, regret is eating away. Like, time, you're not gonna, in 20 years from now, you're gonna thank yourself for that event if you do it. If you don't do it, 20 years from now, you're gonna say, I should have done it. And that regret ate a lot of your time. So might as well just get it out of your damn system, and the worst can happen is you lose some money and you learn a lesson and you go on.
I'll give you a little secret.
Money.
I'll give you a little secret. I've been working with, I don't know if you know him, but Joe Bauer and Associates, and they've really been a great support. Whole family, similar to Coach Bird and his family. I mean, they've just been so supportive that, I think I could jump off a cliff and not even think about it. So thank you so much. I am so happy that you're with us. For those of you out there, David A. Perez, because there are David Perez's out there.
There are a lot of David Perez's.
David A. Perez, CEO of Tax Maverick. And that, my friend, is Diva C.